In a whirlwind of executive action, President Donald Trump has marked the first 100 days of his second term with an unprecedented barrage of over 150 executive orders, shattering records and igniting a firestorm of legal battles that could reshape the boundaries of presidential power. From slashing government spending to cracking down on illegal immigration and dismantling diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, Trump's aggressive agenda has sent shockwaves through the federal courts, setting the stage for a constitutional showdown that's spinning at breakneck speed. The sheer volume of Trump's executive orders dwarfs the output of his predecessors, with 141 signed in his first 100 days alone, surpassing Franklin D. Roosevelt's 99 in 1933. This blitz, described by supporters as a masterstroke of precision, aims to bypass a gridlocked Congress and deliver on campaign promises with ruthless efficiency. But critics argue it's a calculated chaos, designed to overwhelm opponents and stretch the limits of Article II powers. The second Trump administration has taken the guardrails off the norms that historically governed the rule of law, said attorney Mark Zaid, who's clashed with Trump's legal team in multiple cases. These actions threaten the fundamental notion of our democracy. The courts are now a battleground, with more than 200 lawsuits filed to halt Trump's policies. Federal judges have issued over 70 rulings blocking or pausing key initiatives, including mass deportations, restrictions on birthright citizenship, and bans on transgender military service. The administration's use of the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to deport migrants to El Salvador has sparked particular outrage. In one case, a Maryland judge issued a scathing rebuke after Trump officials wrongfully deported a resident and alleged gang member, failing to comply with court orders. U.S. District Judge James Boasberg in D.C. went further, finding probable cause for criminal contempt against officials who defied his March 15 order to halt deportation flights to El Salvador. Trump's birthright citizenship executive order, which seeks to end automatic citizenship for children of undocumented immigrants, has also hit a wall. 4 federal judges, in Washington, Maryland, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire, have issued nationwide injunctions, calling the order blatantly unconstitutional. The Supreme Court, set to hear arguments on May 15, 2025, will decide whether to uphold these blocks or allow Trump's policy to proceed in parts of the country. The administration argues that the 14th Amendment's clause, subject to the jurisdiction thereof, excludes children of non-citizens, a view critics say contradicts over a century of precedent, including the 1898 Wong Kim Ark decision. White House officials have pushed back hard, decrying activist judges, who they claim are obstructing Trump's mandate. They've blasted rulings that paused the transgender military ban, reinstated USAID programs, and blocked Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency from accessing federal databases. Some congressional allies have even floated impeachment for defiant judges, though no formal articles have advanced. In a stunning escalation, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt refused to rule out arresting federal judges, citing a New Mexico judge's arrest for obstruction as precedent. Anyone breaking the law or obstructing federal law enforcement is at risk of prosecution, she said, sparking alarm among legal scholars. Trump, however, insists he respects the judiciary. "I'm a big believer in the Supreme Court and have a lot of respect for the justices," he told Time magazine last week, vowing never to defy the High Court. Critics aren't convinced, pointing to his administration's defiance of lower court orders. "The strategy is to challenge the authority of any court that stands in the way," said Zaid. "It's a dangerous erosion of checks and balances." The administration's legal battles are also a strategic sprint toward the 2026 midterms. "Trump knows he has to move fast," said law professor Jonathan Turley. "If Democrats retake the House, he'll face investigations and gridlock. He's racing to cement his authority now." This urgency is evident in Trump's defense of his orders in courtrooms nationwide, where administration lawyers argue that lower courts lack the power to issue nationwide injunctions. The Supreme Court's upcoming ruling on the birthright citizenship case could set a precedent for how far Trump can stretch his executive muscle. Beyond immigration, Trump's orders have targeted government efficiency and social policies. The creation of the Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk, aims to slash federal spending but has faced judicial roadblocks. Efforts to eliminate Biden-era diversity programs have also drawn lawsuits, with judges pausing orders that terminate equity initiatives. Meanwhile, the transgender military ban, a hallmark of Trump's first term, has been stalled by at least 14 court orders, with rights groups arguing it violates equal protection. The legal frenzy has raised questions about due process and First Amendment protections. In one case, the ACLU filed evidence suggesting Trump officials violated Supreme Court mandates by proceeding with deportations under the Alien Enemies Act without judicial review. In another, a U.S. board ordered the reinstatement of thousands of federal workers fired under Trump's push to shrink the bureaucracy, only for appeals courts to pause those rulings. These rapid-fire hearings and emergency orders underscore the high stakes of Trump's agenda. As the Supreme Court looms large, the nation watches a presidency unbound, testing the limits of executive power in real time. Will Trump's blitz reshape America's legal landscape, or will the courts rein him in? With the 2026 midterms on the horizon and lawsuits piling up, the clash between Trump's vision and the judiciary's role as a check on power is far from over. One thing is certain, the next 100 days will be just as contentious.